Good morning. Today is Monday, and this is a recap for last Friday, the 18th of of January, and we had a decent day. Um, I usually take off the weekend, and as there's Martin Luther King Day today, I delayed my recap a little bit to take off the weekend and just think about the week a little more and just to get a break. So Friday was good. Um, Netflix reported earnings the night before and made a little move down. And also Tesla has had some news. They said they would lay off 7% of its workers, and as you can see, it kept down like 25 points and even made another move down to 300 over the day. I didn't expect that, to be honest. I was really surprised that Tesla would sell off this hard and react that much on this news. But since I don't know, it's a good sign if they have. I mean, they wanted to lay off people to be more productive. So I didn't expect it to be that kind of a bad news. So I don't know. But what do I know? However, I watched it during pre-market. I saw it react at this 327 level several times. Let me see. I went here, uh, then it reacted here and here, and here again. So I knew this might be significant. Then we rejected this 329, and already like in pre-market, I saw this decision candle, and I don't trade pre-market, but I took some mental shorts during the time, and it tried here, and they all would have worked out. So this was a significant level, and I had watched it. I watched Tesla and Netflix close out of the open. So I had this 327 level, and I wanted to see a spike. So we found a bid here at 322, and traded up. So into this 327, and I placed an order like my offer just below. I think I was filled at 326.95. So my entry was picture perfect. I mean, it can't get any better than that, and it was rejected. Of course, I'm so impatient all the time. I immediately took like off half of the trade, and that's just stupid. Then the next target was here at the EMA and confluence with the VWAP. And then when it spiked again, I mean, as I didn't expect the news to be that bad, I expected Tesla to make a run upwards, to be honest. So when I saw this reject here and it spike up, I took the trade off about into the 326 level. I don't know why I did this. I mean, the good call would have been like on the last. I think it's the last quarter piece is like just to put my stop above the 327 level, or even watch a retest and take a short there. And yeah, but I don't know. I took it off and I missed the whole party. Yeah, that was the open. I mean, however, it felt good and it was a green trade, but I didn't take. I mean, I didn't make much of it. So later, um, after Tesla traded down, I had my support levels were 318.50, then the 315 level with the SMA 200 was here, and 312 below that, and then another 3 at 308.50. So my first entry here at 318.50, I saw it reject the 318.50 and bounce. Um, I took a stab at it, but we sold off further. So into this three. Wait a second. to check the levels and get the levels right. Was Tesla was the second trade in Tesla. Okay. Well, that wasn't clean. Okay, here we go. So it was the 31850 was this, and then here we found support at 316, and when we moved back, or like at 31650-ish. So when the offer lifted above 317 again, I put in an ad, and it was too early. So I just stuck with it, and my first target was like the previous entry. I took half off, and then I was going for it to make like to retest my former entry to make a higher low, which it did. And usually you can add here for a move further up, but trigger shy as I am, I hesitated, and I'm glad I did. And for some reason I did not take my exit here. I just stuck with the position. I mean, it wasn't big of a position, but I was in it and stuck within it. So at 314-ish, I saw 314 hold, and we bounced. And as we got higher, I was a little early with my ad. And then later, when I eventually got an entry signal here, and we made a perfect higher low, and I didn't add here either, and I just stuck with it. And I mean, I scared out of it. Then my exits were good. They were okay. I'm happy with these, but I'm just too trigger shy. I really have to work on it. So yeah, that was a decent trade. And later, like towards closing, that was my last trade of the day. I was already on the phone with a friend. Let's see if I have a better. No, I don't. That's pretty much it. Yeah, here we go. So I at 308.50, I had when it came closer, I saw it drop here, and like this was a steep drop, and when it came into 309, I watched it at 308.50. Oh, actually, I was at 308.50, and when I saw reject, I took a stab at it on the way up. So not a perfect entry. I was a little early on it, but it was okay. It was okay. I had my fill was in the 80s, 70, 70, 79 was my entry. So I wanted to see a run towards VWAP, but yeah, it took forever. We even again made here this lower high, and we retested my entry, and here I could have added, but I didn't, and I took another partial here, and I was already on the phone with a friend, and once I had my hard stop below 308.50. So once we broke out here, made this move up here, I moved my break even here on the remaining part. Eventually, I was taken out. I was stopped out and at break even, made a small profit here. But yeah, eventually Tesla traded down to 300, so made a big move. Besides, after Tesla, next trades were Facebook, NVDA, and NVDA. I didn't do very good in Facebook. My levels for some resistance. Wait a second. So this were my levels on Facebook. I had some resistance here at 151, 149.50 was a level, and up there just at 153. So I usually don't like trading within the levels, but sometimes I still do. So this entry was clearly way too early. I saw this big rejection candle form, and I mean its lows were never taken out, but it made higher. We clearly found some resistance here, and I don't know when I was faked into this, and it was just a big mistake not to take off the trade once we broke the highs here, and I just stuck with it. And it was purely stupid because it gave me just a bad average after all. And here I was impatient, and I didn't wait for this level actually to for the 150 was a decent, and I entered like in the 30s already. I didn't have the patience. Like if you have like 80 cents off already, so I feel like I have to add to lower my price instead of just waiting for a clear entry. And 151 would have been okay for an entry and given me like an average around 151. Still, there's another leg up, but it would have given me like, after all, you get a better average. So I had 153 as next target, but when I saw it like hesitate here to and reject 152, I added more, and then like here at 152.50 were rejected, and it was a hard reject. This was like a big. So actually here I saw the decision candle, and I used the add here to add my final piece, and I was up to one tier, and which was totally fine. Just my average was bad. My average was at 151.67, and this turned out to be the low and a strong support, as you can see, because like we tested it so many freaking times, and we never broke. I was really frustrating. And as I was already at one tier, I took off half here at break even, um, just to add it. I didn't like the add here because I was afraid of it making another move higher to 153, and that's where I wanted to add like most of the part and go up. So yeah, I saw this 152, but I didn't like the ads here, and even though I had lots of opportunities. So every time we got down to my break even, I was anticipating the break for a move down to VWAP, or at least like to the EMA 20 in 5 minutes. Well, but that never happened. So each time we came down and bounced off, I took off partials just to reduce my size. And here I eventually I took some profits here and eventually took off the trade, and because I just didn't like it. It was moving too strong. And at the same time, I traded NVDA, and I did better here. My first entry here was too early. I saw this reject of 156 and wanted to use the retest. So we lifted above 156, and when we came back through 156 for a moment, I took an entry. Eventually, we lifted again and consolidated above 156, and yeah, I thought we eventually roll over to test the EMA 9 on the 5 minute to where I would have taken the profit, but we broke again. My entry here was good. It was here at this 157 level, and it was totally fine. And then we made this last move up, and here, there was so much movement here. I mean, it spiked up, it's down, and all the higher prices into towards 158, they were immediately rejected, and it was so moving so wildly. So I knew, okay, now we're exhausted, and then I took the last step. Unfortunately, I hit the wrong button, so um, yeah, I added a little too much size here. Well, it was fine. It gave me a decent average. I think my average was around here somewhere. So every time I had this level for some support, and so I placed my first target here and took off more here. I added back here, not a clean entry. Could have waited for here where I did not add, and it gave me. I really wanted to see the move down to VWAP, and that eventually happened. But you know, I tried it many times, and almost looks like I'm patient, but I really wasn't, because it was just grinding along, and there wasn't much movement. It was, like uh, it, NVIDIA has been very difficult in the past week. So that was NVIDIA, and that was my Tesla trade. I had a very good trade in Netflix when I had 348. I had 348.50. I already removed it as a level, as it was 348.50 was the pre-market support, and there's also a level. So I had that down and watched it close. When I saw Netflix like bounce and make this move up here, I watched it closely, and then I saw this I saw this 348.50 reject. So I waited, and I saw this beautiful decision candle forming, and I just gave it a stab and took a quarter position with a hard stop above here. And of course, I couldn't wait for my first target, which was at 347. I took off half as we broke 348 and took another partial here at 347, and yeah, next target was down here and then here and eventually here, but I didn't expect it to make such a move. Instead, like, I was thinking about taking it off here, but I only had like a partial. I think I had like 10 shares left, and I just stuck with it and wanted to see it. I left my stop up here, and for a moment I thought about taking it off break even, but it was just immediately just moments before it like turned over, and this time it really gathered some momentum downwards, and I'm too trigger shy. I mean, this would have been a clear and nice entry once the 348 level breaks, just to add back. I mean, even with my profits here, and it would have been still like, even if I set my stop up above this high, this would have been a break even trade still, and so I didn't, but I never thought it would make such a move. I mean, this Netflix just sold off hard, and even down to 338-ish. So we tested, I think, 338 was the level that was tested later. I mean, it was like a 10-point move. Even with 10 shares, this would have been like, $100 extra, and yeah, well, maybe I learn out of it, but I doubt it. So like here I was faked out. I mean, it was like I moved my stop like actively below like even this level. It was like about, like there are like 5 shares left, and you get so focused on this small sand values that you move it about. I don't know. It's just I don't know what I'm thinking sometimes. So yeah. Anyhow, so that was pretty much my Friday. It was after all, it was a decent week. Um, just to just telling myself in the past weekend to not force any trade and be more patient, and it calmed me down a lot. And Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday were green days. Thursday was a red day, and I didn't trade too much in the past week. I took a total of 33 trades, and I was positive on 65% of them. And so 23 trades were positive, were green, and uh, the other 10 trades were negative. But like my largest loss was like $25, so it was tiny. My profit factor is around, I think like 13.7 it was. So from trading size, even though I wasn't happy with my entries and exits, I managed to have a decent week. Well below my weekly target, but the market is still like well asleep, and I really hope next week it's gonna be better, or this week actually. I'm allowed to bump up um, my trade size again, and really looking forward to a more try to a positive week. And so my plans for the next week, or for the coming week, is to start maybe trying pyramiding up into trades, into my reversals like this. That I start like with 10 shares here, and then add 20, and like even take like a phantom share, even a single share, just to share a small position that forces you to focus closer on a certain stock. So I really wanted. I have to think about it a little bit, but that's what I wanted to do, and increase my size as we get closer to a reversal, or a final reversal. But yeah, just work in progress. So when I try to do this, I will be using small share sizes. So start maybe with 5 shares, and then add 10, and go down to 20. So um, that a total share, maybe a total, the total of the complete position in one of the trades will be like a quarter or a half tier in total. So just to get a feeling for it. But we'll see. I keep you posted. Thank you for watching.